The last few hours in Newcastle have been marked by an unsettling silence. Between whispered conversations in pubs, worried glances along the streets, and a sense that something needs to be resolved quickly, supporters already understand that the moment is tense. It's not just another painful defeat or a game in which luck slipped away. What is at stake now strikes at the very backbone of the team and could shape the course of the season. Before diving into the details, I want to take a moment to make a quick request to those of you who follow every Newcastle update closely. Subscribe to the channel. This simple action helps our work grow and ensures you always receive the hottest updates about the club firsthand. Every subscription strengthens our community of passionate supporters who don't want to miss a single moment at St. James Park. Eddie Howe, who had already been managing some difficulties keeping the squad competitive amid a packed schedule, now faces an even greater challenge. It isn't just the result against Liverpool that worries him, but also the growing list of absences. Fans have noticed clearly with every round, the squad feels shorter and the team more vulnerable. The drama at Anfield may just be the tip of a much deeper problem. Between suspensions and injuries, the manager will have to completely rethink his options for the next Premier League fixture. Eyes now turn to the backrooms where urgent decisions must be made. Those familiar with Howe's routine know he values careful planning, but at this moment, the situation seems to demand swift solutions, perhaps even bolder than usual. It is in this context that the big question arises. How will Newcastle respond? And here is the revelation that intrigues supporters. According to information obtained by TBR Football, Newcastle is eyeing a move for midfielder Conor Gallagher, currently at Atletico Madrid. The 25-year-old Englishman has become a direct target following the injuries to Sandro Tonali and Joelinton, which have weakened the team's midfield. The Spanish club paid around £33 million for him last summer, but they are now open to negotiations. This move shows how the club does not intend to waste time in the face of this crisis. Gallagher, who has already demonstrated versatility both defensively and offensively, could be the ideal piece to plug the gaps left by the absences. More than an emergency reinforcement, he represents an opportunity to maintain balance in the team's most strategic area, and for how every detail matters in building a competitive squad. It's worth noting that Gallagher is not a new name in the St. James Park backrooms. Newcastle had monitored his situation in previous transfer windows, but negotiations never progressed. This time, however, the situation is different. With two indisputable starters injured, the board knows they cannot risk seeing the squad lose competitiveness in such a demanding season. For many fans, this would be the right move at the right time. It is also important to highlight that interest in the player is not exclusive to Newcastle. Everton, West Ham, Crystal Palace, Tottenham, and even Manchester United are evaluating a move. This shows just how highly Gallagher is rated in the market and how his arrival could be a real strategic coup for the Magpies. Imagine the impact of removing him from the sight of direct rivals in the Premier League while still securing the replacement the team so urgently needs. Financially, the operation would not be simple. Gallagher earns just over £150,000 per week, and any negotiation would involve considerable sums. But Newcastle has the advantage of a good relationship with elite management agency, which also manages Dan Burns' career. This connection could be crucial to opening pathways in a deal that, while complex, is already being viewed optimistically in certain backrooms. Meanwhile, supporters remain on edge. Gallagher's name is already circulating in conversations around Newcastle, dividing opinion. Some see him as the perfect solution for the moment, while others fear he may be just an emergency gamble. The fact is the club needs to act, and quickly. Time is against them. The fixture list doesn't wait, and the Premier League has already shown that any slip-up can be costly. If you want to follow every step of this potential negotiation, subscribe to the channel now. With every new update, we'll be here bringing the hottest news, the backroom stories, and what it could mean for Newcastle's future. Don't miss any of the developments that could completely change the course of the season. Back on the pitch, the immediate concern is still the game against Leeds. With Anthony Gordon suspended and Schur under observation after a concussion, Howe has to manage a squad depleted in nearly every sector. For supporters, this run of bad news is a reminder of how urgently reinforcements are needed. Gallagher, in this sense, could be more than just a choice. He could be a necessity. During his loan at Crystal Palace, Gallagher showed his ability to adapt to different roles. He contributed to 13 goals in 39 appearances, proving useful both defensively and offensively. This versatility is particularly noteworthy because Newcastle's midfield, with Joelinton, Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes, has always relied on a balance of strength, technique, and intensity. The potential arrival of the Englishman also brings an interesting detail. In an injury scenario, he could offer not just cover but also internal competition. Howe has repeatedly highlighted the importance of having players fighting for positions. This healthy competition raises the level of the entire squad, and for a club seeking to establish itself among the top teams in England and Europe, this is essential. On the other hand, doubts remain. Atletico Madrid, which invested heavily in the player not long ago, is unlikely to release him. Gallagher's market value, coupled with interest from several clubs, could inflate the negotiation. Newcastle, in turn, needs to balance the desire to strengthen squad with the limitations imposed by financial fair play. This equation is complicated and will be decisive in the coming hours of the transfer window. While no official confirmation has been made, the mood remains one of expectation and suspense. Fans accustomed to major twists in recent years know that anything can happen. Perhaps it is precisely this unpredictability that makes Newcastle such a fascinating club. In every window, in every rumour, the city breathes football intensely, awaiting the next big news. For supporters who want to stay ahead, subscribe to the channel here. This ensures that no twist, backroom story, or negotiation goes unnoticed. Newcastle is at a decisive moment, and every step needs to be closely followed. What is known so far, confirmed by TBR Football, is that Gallagher's name is indeed on Newcastle's table. It remains to be seen whether negotiations will progress in time and if the club can overcome the financial and sporting obstacles involved. But one thing is certain. Fans can expect intense days, full of news and decisions that could shape the team's immediate future. And so we continue, with eyes wide open, and hope that solutions arrive quickly. Because if this season has made anything clear, it is that Newcastle cannot afford to waste time. Whether with Gallagher or any other name, the midfield needs reinforcements. The coming days could be decisive in determining whether the club merely reacts to adversity or takes a step forward in pursuit of consolidating its ambition.